Stone Cold or Spider-Man?
Stone Cold, not even close.
God almighty. Stone Cold or Spider-Man?
Stone Cold, not even close.
God almighty. Welcome back into the video store. Lee, Doug, and Garrick are glad you may still be listening. Thanks for your patience as we get back in the swing of things on our podcast about the movies you've never heard of but must see. Let's start off with a couple of our sponsors. Golden Ticket Cinemas. Remember, $5.50 Tuesdays. Trust me, with inflation and gas the way it is, you should put the Golden Ticket on your priority list. Also, Table Rock Creative Group, the pinnacle of video marketing in the Carolinas, getting ready to change its name and merge with a film company called Lone Wolf Pictures, which is now another one of our sponsors. Have slated 4 films coming up in the next year, and we are excited for them as a film production company to be a part of our show. And also the Spot Toys. When it comes to collectibles, if you need it, they have it. Ladies and gentlemen, Lee Bridges, Doug Wall, and Garrick Lane, it is Tales from the Video Store. Stone Cold or Spider-Man?
Stone Cold, not even close.
Stone Cold or Spider-Man?
Stone Cold, not even close.
Well, since my baby left me, I found a new place to dwell. Down at the end of Lonely Street at Heartbreak Hotel. And I feel so lonely, baby. I feel so lonely. I feel so lonely, I could die.
Sound just fucking like him, Garrick.
Hey, welcome to number 120, and I just got out of the movie after watching Mr. Lerman's Elvis, and I'm a little hyped on the King today. So it's all right, Mama. It's all right for you. All right, how we doing, guys?
Great.
Doing pretty good.
Yeah. Colonel Parker, eat your heart out. You fucking snake. All right, we're getting into it. We'll get to that when we get to the movies I've watched. Hey, guess what? Today, R. Kelly was sentenced to 30 years for sex trafficking.
Couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
Could not happen to a nicer guy. In the words of, God, what was his name in Tombstone? I hope you die. Well, it was one of the brothers. One of the infamous brothers.
Ike Clanton.
Ike Clanton. In the words of Ike Clanton, R. Kelly, I hope you die. Hey, listen, Cameron Diaz is coming out of retirement to be in a movie with Jamie Foxx. Ironically, the movie's called Back in Action. Now, I know nobody gives a fuck about Cameron Diaz, but you gotta remember, Cameron Diaz is the Cameron Diaz from The Mask. Remember that? Her first movie? Remember how fine she was?
Yes.
She was so fine.
I'm afraid it's going to look a little bit different these days.
I don't know, man.
Let me tell you, I like her. I've always liked her, but...
Dude, movie magic. Let me tell you something. Movie magic. Okay,
I've seen it in reverse. Movie Nightmare a time or two recently.
Fair enough. But Lee can attest, before Top Gun Maverick, Tom Cruise gets on and he's sitting there. Did you get this? The disclaimer at the beginning?
Oh, yeah.
He looked very old in that, and then you watch the movie and he's got those collagen implants and he looks young, and in Mission Impossible he looks the same, but he really doesn't look like that. He looks very old like he did in that introduction. So Cameron Diaz may look old, but I bet
they're going to fluff her up.
They're going to fluff her quite up. She had some good movies, though. Gangs in New York. She's great as a bitch. The Counselor, Any Given Sunday. Yeah. She's had some good ones.
I don't have anything against her.
Okay. Well, she's coming back out of retirement, so I thought that was...
I wish I could retire at like 40.
Oh, God, no kidding, right?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. I wish I could, too.
Yeah, that didn't happen. I'm hoping for 50. That's probably not
You're getting ready to switch. You're talking about quitting jobs and switching jobs and stuff. Yeah. Jesus.
Yeah.
That's
I need some of that lotto magic.
I'm telling you, man. I flirted with. I went to real estate school and I flirted with it and passed my test and was ready to go, man. And I got to the gates where I was about to open them up, and I'm like, man, I'm fucking 48. What the hell? I got no business starting over at 48 when I'm doing fine what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Makes no sense at all. Granted, I won't be able to retire because, also, awesomely enough, a year ago, if I was going to be, funny, anyway, let me go back.
What the fuck?
Sorry, I got ahead of myself. So, about a year ago, I ordered the new Sony FX3, the cinema camera, right? It's a big camera, shoots RAW, it's kind of like a RED kind of thing. Not quite as that expensive. But it was on back order for a year, right? And they kept pushing it. And I've been pushing our TikTok killer short to coincide with this camera. And then suddenly on Tuesday, guess what? It shows up at my door.
Oh, well, there you go.
So if I was going to retire, I have to stick around for another $5,000. When I get that $5,000 paid for, then maybe I could just retire and go serve pizzas somewhere, or maybe we can figure out a way to make money on this podcast, and then I can retire.
Oh, we haven't been able to do that yet.
Well, if we keep reviewing movies like fucking Stone Cold, by God, we will never make. It's kind of like your problem. It'll be negative money. Well, I'll just keep paying money out. We'll never make a fucking dollar. Never make a dollar. Okay, quick announcements, real fast. Golden Ticket. Golden Ticket has Jurassic World and Lightyear playing. I don't care to see either one of those. Do you guys?
No.
I'm good, man.
No, I don't either. I mean, it's fine. And then if you're into the drive-in, the Hounds Theater, Screen 1's got Minions, the new Despicable Me 6 with Jurassic Park, and then Screen 2's got Lightyear and Top Gun, and Screen 3's got Elvis and Top Gun. If I was to put my money on one of those screens, I would put it on number 3. There you go. Any news for you guys? You got anything cool coming up?
No, not really.
I gotta carry the fucking show like I always do. All right, cool. I went to see the Black Phone. We'll talk about that, but it was pretty cool, man. We got in there. It was a private screening from the Get Dead crew, this special effects company out of Charlotte's going to do our movie. We've been doing a lot of movies around here. Got us some free tickets to the new Stephen King son written film. We'll get into that, but that's pretty cool. Where I'm going with this...
My wife went to go see the Black Phone.
Oh, cool. Well, where I'm going with this is we're going to get more of these tickets if you guys are interested.
I would love to know what Lee looks like in person again.
The same, just fatter.
Well, this we have in common, my friend.
I haven't left the house since 2020.
Yeah. No. Isn't it weird that, like, 2020 to now seems kind of like a blur?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, I'll say something happened, like, oh, that was only, like, last year, and I realized, no, that was 2019.
Yeah.
It's like they all sort of jumble together.
And not in a good way.
And not in a good way, no.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely not in a good way. There was a lot of bad stuff came out of that year. I mean, it carried on until up recently. So, maybe we're getting back to normal. Hey, I flew to Vermont. I think I talked about this, but I flew to Vermont and I didn't have to wear a mask on the plane. So we're moving right along there.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So, that's it. So no more news for anybody. We got nothing?
I can't think of anything.
Well, all right then. Well, let's get into it. Sorry, I guess everybody's emailing me now right when we start the podcast. I start getting blitzed with emails. So
good.
Okay. A tough Alabama cop is blackmailed by the FBI into going undercover and exposing a violent Mississippi biker company. All right, who wants to start with this?
Biker company?
What did I say?
Who the fuck calls a gang a company?
A biker gang. So Craig Baxley, the director, who did nothing but pieces of shit. Now, he was the stunt coordinator on Predator.
Second-unit director.
This motherfucker must have just fallen in his lap. The producers of this must have just saw a quick, like, short door on Brian Bosworth and said, let's make a movie and make a quick dollar out of it. How they got Lance Henriksen and William Forsythe to be in this fucking movie. I mean, I guess it's the same reason William Forsythe helmed the Rob Zombie picture. I don't know. Anyway, I know you guys like this movie because you guys are fucking helmets. So go ahead. Tell me why this movie is so awesome. Because I would just assume fucking wipe my ass with it.
Right.
Okay. Go ahead, Lee.
Right, that's fine.
Go ahead, Lee.
Well, actually, he wasn't the original director. He came on I think a week into shooting, and the reason why he got picked as director because his first film, Action Jackson, was actually a fairly sizable hit. You know.
Yeah, Action Jackson was good. It had good actors and good stuff in it.
So I would actually say this, considering the movie, seeing the fact that he had no pre-production, the movie, what he's able to pull off in the movie is actually very impressive. And because the stunts in this movie are just insane. When we were watching it, Bonnie said, "Why does everything explode?" And I said, "Because it was directed by a stunt guy." Like when the beginning, when the minister gets shot with a shotgun at the wedding, he doesn't just get shot. He gets shot and then he flies to the window.
Yeah.
And just everything is more in this movie. And I think because it came out in '91.
Because Brian Bosworth is so less. I said because Brian Bosworth is so less. Everything else has to be so more.
Right. But I think, because it came out in '91, I think had this movie came out like 1987, it probably would have been a huge hit. It's more of a, because, Die Hard comes out in '88, and that, Bruce Willis, he's not like this jacked super guy. And then the next year, Batman comes out, and it's just Michael Keaton in a rubber suit. So by this time, we're starting, the 80s action movies are starting to change into, different types of movies. And I think if this movie came out a few years beforehand, it would have been, huge. Because it's just, everything about it is ridiculous. When we were watching it, at the beginning when he's making the shake, the smoothie for his pet lizard. She said, he has a dog. And I said, no, he doesn't have a dog. He owns like a 6-foot lizard. Yeah, his pet is a Komodo dragon. And the movie, I guess the philosophy of the movie is if some is good, more is better. This movie thinks subtlety is for pussies.
Yeah.
It's not Garrick's type of movie, but that's fine. But it's, it's just a wildly entertaining movie. It is completely ridiculous, and but the movie never takes itself seriously. It knows it's a guy who couldn't make it as a football player, and let's just put him in a movie.
Yeah, I just thought
he was more famous for being Brian Bosworth than anything.
Well, he was definitely not famous for being a football player.
Right, exactly. He was more famous for being a college football player than anything, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, and I give this thing a hard time. It is just it's a 80s action movie.
Set in 91.
Yeah.
It like Lee said, it's like 5 years too late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But here's what I'll say. Lee, you know me so well. Because I had a little bit of trepidation going into this. I was like, stone cold, man. Fuck, I can't even remember last time I saw it. It had to have been in 91 or 92. And minutes into it, I couldn't stop smiling.
Right.
Because it's exactly what I'd hoped it was going to be. And it was exactly what it needed to be. It was fucking great. It's just...
You're as fucking weird as me.
It's
you
a
like
weird...
this fucking shit, and then some of this stuff that I think that you're gonna like, you're like, it's stinky bedridden. It spills fucking shit. It sucks my bowels. It sucks my bowels. This? You like this?
There's gratuitous tits and fucking the like all through the movie.
Bosworth looks like a fucking transvestite.
Bosworth has like this silver fucking fox white fucking coiffed mullet. Looks like a fucking minx on his head. And here's what I'll say about Boz, and you can You can blast him.
He looks like, I thought he was Bridget Nielsen in Rocky IV at first.
He was better in this fucking movie than he ever was on an NFL football field. Now that's a fucking fact.
That is a fact.
And here's something. Yeah, and here's something.
He knew that Bo Jackson wasn't going to show up and ruin his day on the set.
Yeah, exactly. Here's what I'll say.
That's good. You guys are great.
This thing, the way it's constructed, it doesn't hinge on him being anything other than what he is, which is a big dude who has some catch lines. He does some fight scenes. That's all it needed to be. And he was fine. You could have put Stallone in this, and it would have been the same movie. You could have put fucking Arnold in this. It's the same fucking movie.
Right.
You know, like, I didn't... You can sit here and blast him, but I didn't think that he was a negative in this movie. He was a massive...
He's fine.
Yeah, he was a big cop who said his fucking lines, punched guys when he was supposed to, did his thing. I mean, what the fuck else do you want?
Well, William Forsythe.
Forsythe and fucking and Hendrickson, come on.
Yes, they're the best part of the movie.
Is it Lance?
Oh, Lance Henderson kills it in this movie.
He is fucking amazing.
The Rotten Tomatoes, it's got a 33%, and 15% of that is William Forsythe, and 18% of that is Lance Henriksen.
Here's what I'm going to say. I went into this
Like
thinking...
1% of it's the Komodo dragon.
I'm not going to... Like, I can't believe we're doing this. But like I say, a couple minutes in, I was all in. And hyped to watch it. I didn't even pause it. I sat and watched the fucker straight through and enjoyed every minute of it.
Yeah.
I mean, the helicopter scene at the scene at the courthouse, man, where they fucking take over the courthouse and fucking kill everybody in there, and the fucking chopper and all that. Like, look, it's a $25 million budget movie, not some little fucking puddly thing in '91. $25 million is quite a bit, and I'm actually surprised it made 9 back at the theater, but it did, and I'm sure it probably made the rest back in VHS tapes and what have you, but I was happy that I got to see this again, because I don't know if I would have ever watched it had we not done it on here, and I'm so glad that we did.
Well, it's funny you mentioned the finale, because the movie was actually mostly shot in Mississippi.
Yeah.
But when they went to the Mississippi Capitol and presented them with the movie, they said absolutely fucking not.
Yeah.
So they contact whoever was in charge of arranging those things in the Arkansas Capitol. And I guess the guy didn't read the script, because he was like, come up there and shoot this movie. It'll be fine. And I guess they didn't really tell them what they would be doing, because I think several people got fired after they shot. Because there's just, I mean, the stunts going on in the Capitol building is just ridiculous.
Motorcycles everywhere, guns, fucking people.
There's a chopper flying 6 feet off the ground.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking hardcore, man.
And like several people lost their jobs. Because, there's motorcycles going through windows and shit, and just, and I love that, like Stone, Brian Bosworth, he doesn't save the Mississippi attorney, the Supreme Court. He kind of blows it at the end, because Lance Henderson just mows down the Supreme Court of the state of Mississippi and the Attorney General.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, I mean, it is a, even I think for 91, this was probably, for mainstream action movies, this was probably a little violent. Because, it was just, like I said, they gave a stunt guy an obscene amount of money and a football player. And, I
think this was the best outcome it could have been.
Exactly.
Really?
Exactly.
Like, I mean, I think back to movies similar to this around that time, and, that weren't helmed by, like, A-list guys like Stallone and the like, some like Dolph Lundgren movies that were nowhere near as well done as this, and nowhere near as entertaining. Like, I was fucking super hyped up when I finished this movie.
See, that's the thing. Like Craig Back said, he was the second unit director of Predator.
Yeah. So
he did all the action stuff. And when you hire a guy like that, and you give him this amount of money, the amount of stuff he can pull off with that money is way bigger than something that, like, a regular director would pull off, because he knows what to do. And unlike all other things, there's no one there to tell him no, because he's the director.
Yeah.
You know.
It's the best thing that could have happened to this movie.
Exactly.
Is nobody telling him no.
Yep. Exactly. Like, should we have the biker mow down a bunch of judges at the end? Fuck yes.
Absolutely.
I'm going to tell you how this worked out. Walter Doniger, the writer, is drinking beer or drinking liquor with Michael Douglas at a bar. And he says, I've got this movie, but I need bigger and better, and I'm out of money. And Michael Douglas says, well, I'll tell you what, I'll give you the money you need, but you're going to have my buddy Craig Baxley direct it. And the guy's like, whatever. Did you guys know that? And then Michael Douglas said, I don't want any credit on this. I'll just give you the fucking money for it. That's correct. That's how that shit worked out.
Hey, that way, that like I said,
and then Michael Douglas woke up the next day and was, between three chicks and was like, oh, God. Wait, what the fuck did I do last night? Shit. Something about a Boz and a fucking helicopter and some shit blowing up. Ah, fuck it. Here, give me another line. That's exactly what Michael Douglas did.
Thank God for it.
Because we got stone cold.
Yep. And this movie actually checks 2 of my boxes. Because if you look up a picture of Craig R. Baxley, I love movies directed by stunt guys, and I love movies directed by guys who look like they would have been coke dealers on an episode of Miami Vice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
And he's both of those. You know.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, listen, this is just my type of movie. I like silly shit that isn't jokey, you know. Like, there's nothing, I mean, the movie doesn't take itself seriously, but the movie itself, the people making it took it seriously.
Yeah, I mean, dude, the stunts, every single stunt is perfect. They're all perfectly done. Everything looks great. Are there some fucking whack lines? Well, of course there are.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
But that's fine. That's what you got out of these movies back then. The fact that Boz was saying it and not some other asshole, I don't think it fucking really matters. I really appreciate this. Lee, this one gets all the fucking boxes of popcorn. I don't know how high the fucking popcorn box meter goes, but I'm going to the top. Garrick, where's your popcorn meter? Fuck bag.
My fucking rental, my video rental.
Yes.
I'll give it a don't rent. I give it a 1. You didn't even rent it, motherfucker. You streamed it on YouTube. How can you give it a fucking rental? You wouldn't.
I'll tell you why.
Wait. Hold on a second. Sorry to interrupt. Would you walk into a Blockbuster and look at the fucking Stone Cold with Boz sitting there on that shit looking like Bridget Nielsen and go, that's the movie I'm going to take home?
Who gives a shit?
I'm going to get some pussy tonight. I'm going to take home Stone Cold.
No.
Bridget Nielsen's going to be fine in it, and I'm going to get laid.
Look, I like these types of movies, man.
Lee, do you own this movie?
No, because here's the problem. It's out of print, and the only version you can rent online is the Riff Tracks version, which is the guys from Mystery Science Theater.
Oh, right.
Making fun of the movie.
Yeah.
And I'm now to the point where I watched Mystery Science Theater growing up. When it was on, like, whenever I would be at somebody's house that happened to have, Comedy Central in the early 90s, it was on. But now my feeling about that shit is completely different. It's just like, I don't know. Just the whole watching movies ironically thing, it just comes off as super douchey. And, I don't know. It just bothers the shit. That shouldn't be the only version of any movie. Like, it doesn't matter if it's the best movie or the worst movie in the world. Making a movie is fucking hard. Like, the people who made, Manos Hands of Fate or some other shit that, that's just terrible. It's fucking hard work. And you should be able to watch some movie without a bunch of smug assholes making jokes over it. Because some people might want to watch it, some people might not.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's just... But, Garrett gives it 1 box of popcorn, whatever our arbitrary rental...
Suddenly it's a problem to not like a movie. When you guys like it.
No.
You get 1.
That's fine.
You can not like it whenever you want. But and Doug gave it, and Doug just ran out of popcorn.
Yeah. Give me as much as you got, because it's worth it.
Yeah.
Okay?
I would agree with that.
That's chicken shit. Hey, Lance Henriksen wrote his own lines to every scene. How about that?
No wonder they were so fucking good. He was brilliant.
Yep.
Was as Chains. Fucking A right he was. Badass fucking long hair. I loved him, dude. He was great. Forsythe? Christ, man. What else you fucking... I mean, strip clubs and titties and shit. I mean, fight scenes. Come on. Bare knuckle brawls at a fucking Brotherhood biker gang rally. I mean, fuck, man. And who was the guy that he was fighting in that pit? Was that one of the fucking Von Erichs?
If not, it looked like
it. Sure fucking looked like one of them, but I didn't.
That was fucking huge.
Yeah, yeah. But I wasn't sure about that. I meant to look and see if it was, but I didn't.
Yeah.
William Forsythe was on Out for Justice at the same time. So he was fighting Seagal. Was that Seagal, right? Mm-hmm. He was fighting Seagal one week, and then he'd come over for another week and do the Brian Bosworth. That's why he looks the same in both of those movies. That's pretty funny.
Oh, interesting.
I'm looking for the Von Erichs. I do not see it.
Okay.
Do you remember what that guy's name was?
No.
Okay.
No, because he's only in that one scene, the bare knuckle scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, it may have been Von Erich.
Because he doesn't really look that big. Then you see him stand next to Bosworth, and he's like 6 inches taller.
You're like, damn, that's a big fucking dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he straight up picks the Boz up by his neck at one point. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, but like I said, free to watch on YouTube. If you like 80s and early 90s action movies, there you go.
I love it.
Yeah. In a few weeks, when we review Remains of the Day, we can Garrett can gush about that one.
So, now that I'm clean again, I had to use some hand sanitizer and a couple of wipes to get the bullshit off of me. So, now let's get into what we watched. I always just start. You go. Did you watch anything?
Yeah.
I watched some stuff.
I watched some cool shit. I had a good week of movie watching.
Oh, yeah? Because the
part.
last couple of weeks have been pretty bad.
Yeah, one real winner, and I'm going to... This is like the Praise Lee episode. So...
you better get it while you can get it, Lee.
Yeah, because I'll blast you next
right?
week. So I finally rented X.
Oh, yes.
Ty West, newest. And it was everything I wanted it to be. It was not exactly what I expected, and that was in a good way.
Right. And it was not what I expected either.
Very, very gory, very funny in some parts. A lot of nudity. And it felt like an early 80s, late 70s horror movie. But in the best way.
Yeah. And I think it's his best movie since House of the Devil.
It was... I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It's one of those that I'm not going to try and watch it again soon, but here in a few months and I see it streaming somewhere, I'm going to get all excited and to be able to watch it again. I enjoyed it that much.
And how great is Mia Goth in that movie?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and to play, two roles in it, and...
What's she like, twins?
No.
What's that? No.
Don't spoil it.
You kind of have to see it. It would kind of ruin it if I told you.
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
don't spoil it.
Yeah, very, very good. Talking about some directors that we like that were former stunt coordinators. Jesse V. James. I watched Hell Hath No Fury.
Nice.
It takes place during World War II in France. This, I guess she's kind of like a spy. Gets in with like this with this Nazi kind of like general guy, and they're kind of like an item, but she's really playing them to a point.
Yeah, she's a member of the French Resistance.
Right.
Yeah.
The bulk of the movie takes place in a graveyard, and they're looking for this. There's supposed to be some buried treasure out there with some American GIs, this French chick, some other guys in the French Resistance, and ultimately some Nazis show up. And
So it's like the Five Bloods, only in Germany.
but I don't know.
It's more like a siege movie, but it's on, instead of being in a building, it's in a graveyard.
Right, like they can't leave because of the gold. You know, it's like everybody's kind of stuck there. And when the violence erupts, it looks as good as you would imagine it would. Like any gunfire into a dude, it's just like slow motion, just fucking looks great. Overall, the story was, I didn't love it. Ultimately, I thought, it was just okay, but it looks very good. If you're looking for like a 90-minute, just kind of something just to kind of take the time away.
The best thing I can say about it is it feels like you're reading an old World War II comic book.
Sure.
You know, it's like it has that. It's like it's not a serious war movie like Saving Private Ryan. It's like it's an adventure movie in this very small space.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I watched that. I watched what's the newest Spider-Man?
No Way Home.
No Way Home. I finally watched. My wife made me watch it. It was enjoyable in some parts. I like them bringing back all the characters from all the different movies, but goddamn, man, I am so sick of this like time traveling fucking bullshit in every fucking thing, man.
Multiverse bullshit.
I don't know, like just come up with a cool story and a good villain, and that should be enough. And if that's not enough, then I think that's a problem.
Stone Cold or Spider-Man?
Which did I enjoy more?
Yeah.
Stone Cold, not even close.
God almighty. I'm fucking done with you
I
guys.
want to save that little sound bite and just play it over and over again.
Yeah.
Okay,
God.
reaction.
And I think I watched the newest. My wife was on a little Marvel kick, and
I can't.
got that
I don't even
Spider-Man.
want to do this fucking podcast anymore. I can't even believe that what you said.
Doctor Strange into the
Sam
mouth
Raimi.
of madness.
Yeah, into the fucking Sam Raimi, into the woods.
Into the Raimi-verse.
Yeah, it's Doctor Strange versus the Army of Darkness.
There were aspects of it that I really liked, and I could tell. You could tell that it was. I don't want to say you could tell it was Raimi, but there was a
The
lot.
whole movie was Raimi.
It's very fucking Raimi. But I don't even know
Strange.
what the fuck it was, to be quite honest with you.
Doctor Strange or Spider-Man?
Stone Cold.
Yeah, I mean, Spider-Man, it's better, I guess, but I didn't really understand the end of either one of them. I'm just kind of fucking...
It gets out there now. Now it's like they almost stretched the suspicion of disbelief. They almost like have stretched it to the point of ridiculous.
I'm just going to wreck the Spider-Man end, okay, with a question, because you both have seen this, right?
Everybody that's going to watch that movie has seen it by now. Yes.
Okay, so at the end, he's like, I'm going to make it to where nobody knows who Peter Parker is, right? Well, that's great for Tom Holland's Peter Parker. But what the fuck about the other Peter Parkers that have lives in these other places? They're just shit out of fucking luck.
I guess so. But
I just thought, like...
That's stretching
it's
the
so
suspension of disbelief.
Yeah, the writing's so questionable. It just... I don't know. It just kind of... I enjoyed a lot of it, but I did not like the end of it at all. I was just like, eh. And Doctor Strange, the only thing I remember was homeboy from The Office, like, showed up as one of the Fantastic Four
And
guys
gets
or
whacked.
something. I was like, well, that was random, but cool.
Yeah.
I get, but very odd. And I couldn't really keep up with what was going on in it. And a little bit too much for me.
It was. I mean, it really was. It was a lot to digest. It was going by really fast. We unfortunately watched that movie in 4DX, and it was.
I couldn't imagine being in a theater and
Yeah.
watching that fucking Doctor Strange, dude. I would have fucking walked out.
Yeah, it was almost enough. Now, but then I redeemed myself and went back and watched Top Gun in 4DX, and that was fantastic.
Now that's
Now I'm done though with the
40X would probably be too much.
4DX is almost too much. Period. Like I just think
Yeah.
it's like a roller. Clam of all people said it well. He said, you know, you like roller coasters and you're on them for a minute and a half. You don't want to be on those roller coasters for
You
2 hours.
quoted him last week. The exact same quote.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Well, you know that's okay. I'm getting old, and it's okay. We can repeat. Hey, repetition works, Doug. Repetition works.
I'm
Doug.
just pointing out your
Repetition
your
works.
fucking Zomers.
You
that's
know what?
fucking
I'll tell you what.
showing up.
I'm actually happy that you would remember that I said that. That means you're paying attention. Anyway, yeah, I agree 100% with. You know, we love Sam Raimi, but it was a little much. That was a little bit.
And I love the little Bruce Campbell. I loved seeing old Brucey.
The pizza guy.
You know, I mean, fuck, dude.
He has to be in every one of those movies.
Yeah,
you
he's
know.
fucking awesome, dude. Love that guy.
What'd you watch, Lee?
Well, I rewatched Craig Arbaxi's first movie we mentioned earlier, Action Jackson.
Oh, nice.
Which the only, I won't say the weak part, but it is weird seeing Craig T. Nelson as an action movie bad guy. As especially there's a scene at the beginning where he's beating up a bunch of stunt guys, and I guess he's so good at karate, and it just doesn't really. It's just kind of like that's Coach, like that's you know.
Right.
Now, is he really good at karate? I don't even remember that movie. Oh, I'm sorry, man. I totally interrupted you. Go ahead. Now, was Craig T. Nelson good at karate?
I mean, the best parts of it you can tell are his stunt double.
Oh, okay.
Because they just don't show his face.
Gotcha.
But I mean, it's a very cool movie. I mean, especially to be a guy's first movie directing, you know, it's very impressive. But other than that, I watched a movie from 1988, a Hong Kong movie called Tiger on Beat, another insane cop movie. It probably has the best chainsaw fight in movie history.
I thought Mandy had the best chainsaw fight.
I'll send you the clip of this one. It's pretty impressive.
Ooh.
And other than that, I watched. Let me see. Me and Bonnie watched a slasher movie from 1981 called Hell Night, which is pretty good. And let me see what else. I had my notes here. Fuck.
Wait, what was the name of that one? You're going so fast here. Jesus, it's like Cliff Notes. It's
Tiger.
Like, Hell Night.
Tiger Beat.
What was it?
Tiger on Beat.
Okay, Tiger on Beat. I've never heard of the film.
It's not. I'm not sure it's ever been really distributed in America.
Where'd you watch it then?
I bought a bootleg copy off eBay.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And I watched, like I said, Hell Night from 1981, and then I watched a movie I've not seen since the 90s, which is weird because we were talking about action movies. I watched Racer with the Schwarzenegger movie.
Oh, yeah, with Vanessa Williams looking fine
I think
as
that
hell.
was the last movie he was full-on Arnold.
Yes.
Like, after that, a few years after that, he became governor and everything. That was his last, like, he was 100% Arnold in that movie. And after that, it's kind of, you know, you get to
Which one came out first, Lee? Eraser or The Sixth Day?
I want to say Eraser.
Because they're both right around in that, like, okay, I think he's about done. Arena.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Sixth Day was 2000, so it definitely came out after Eraser.
Oh, okay. Wow.
The Sixth Day was the movie that came out right when he got elected governor.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, Eraser's cool. You're directed by Chuck Russell. You know, just a solid action movie. I mean, I completely forgotten that James Caan is the bad guy. And it's weird to see him and Arnold face off because James Caan was probably like 60 at the time. You know, but you know, it's an alright movie. But that's all I watched.
Okay.
What about you, Garrett?
Did you watch anything enlightening?
Well, I watched a bunch of stuff.
Okay, I am all ears.
Okay, well, good, because I'll call you on the Black Phone. This is my first one. Black Phone, written by Joe Hill. Does everybody know who Joe Hill is? Does Tales from the Video Store people out there know who Joe Hill is? Mm-hmm. Okay, he's Stephen King's son, and this is his first screenplay. I got to see it last Thursday before it came out. it's just there, you know. It's one of those movies I'll probably never watch again.
How was Ethan Hawke in it?
Ethan Hawke was good. The mask situation, every time he would come into the locked room where he'd take this kid, the mask, he would either have the mask on a smiley face if he was in a good mood or an unhappy face, and it was creepy at first, but then it got kind of annoying. This is one of those movies where I watched it, and when I originally walked out of the theater and was like, it's pretty good. And then I drove home from Charlotte. By the time I got home and was really thinking about it, I'm like, that movie doesn't make much sense, and it kind of sucks if I really think about it that way. So it's one of those movies. You guys might enjoy it. Apparently, it's getting good reviews. It was a good movie. I mean, what they did with... they had Ethan Hawke for 3 days, and they shot everything in basically 2 houses. The only big budget or challenge, I guess, in this movie would have been it took place in the 70s, so everybody had to have the wardrobe for the 70s. It had to happen before phones and stuff, and people could ping, obviously, because it's a kidnap movie. But, you know, for what they did with it, it was okay. I won't watch it again. And I feel bad because I'm in a situation where I got 2 free tickets and took my youngest daughter, Addie, because she was the first one that wanted to see it. And I promised her I'd take her. I promised all my kids. Reese wanted to go. Apparently it's all over TikTok, so all the kids are all happy about the black phone. River had mouth surgery. He couldn't go. So either way, make a long story short, I don't want to see it again. So it may
What
be...
did she think of it?
She liked it, but then as of course, Bobby Knipe and I and his daughter and Addie went down to Charlotte together and watched it, and on our way home we really started talking about it, and the more we talked about the plot holes and the problems, the more we didn't like the movie. So it's just kind of one of those things. You know, it's kind of the opposite of another movie I watched, but I'll give it this. I'll say it's a rental. Like, go rent it. Go watch it. It's Stephen King's Evil Spawn, for goodness sakes. It's going to be good.
Yeah, Jody, I like I said, I haven't seen it. Jody did go and see it on Friday, and she said it was not what she expected.
Right.
But that she enjoyed it. Like, I think she was thinking it was going to be like a truer, like, kind of a horror movie.
Horror film. It's not. It's a thriller.
It's not. And that's okay. That doesn't do anything to me, making me not want to watch it or want to watch it more. I mean, I want to see it, whatever. I'll rent it at the whatever.
Right. Yeah. Well, and there was one time where I jumped out of my seat. It was really good. Okay. And then there was one really creepy shot where Ethan Hawke, who, I mean, I guess you guys know, he's the kidnapper, is sitting in the grabber. He's sitting in the kitchen without his shirt on, with a belt in his hand, with that mask on, and he's big guts hanging out, and he's just sitting there, and and they kind of push in on it, and the music, it's a very creepy scene, very well done.
Good.
But when you really think about it as a whole, you're like, that's ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous. But whatever. It was the black phone. It was free. And it was awesome.
Nice.
What's crazy is it was the first movie ever. Security comes into the front and says, "This is a pre-screening. If you even pull out your phone to check it, you're out of here." Because they're trying to keep people from pirating and showing scenes.
Good.
And I shit you not, I saw 2 people get ejected from that place for pulling out and checking their phones.
Good, fuck them.
Yeah, I agree. It's fucking...
Ethan Hawke, I fucking love the guy. He was great in the fucking Northman.
God, and he was only in it for 5 minutes. And
he was so fucking good in the Northman. I'm happy that he's also in this, and he's like kind of rising up again, because I've always been a fan of his. Going back to like the Explorer days, like,
oh yeah, he's been around
from
forever.
when I was a kid. Like, I've always been a big fan of his. Always liked him.
I wasn't a big fan of Training Day, but he was just so good. Like, he's always good. It's even in Training Day, that's very Holly. You know, he's not real big on the Hollywood movies, big blockbusters. He does that one, and he's just always been pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I will go to probably one of the best kung fu movies for anybody that doesn't watch kung fu movies and wants to get into kung fu movies, or should I say Hong Kong movies. Jackie Chan's Police Story. It is not completely kung fu, but the action and the way he does that freaking scene at the beginning where he drives that car through that village is incredible. This guy is at the top of his game during this time, and Police Story has to be one of his greatest achievements. 100%.
Oh, absolutely. That's my favorite Jackie Chan movie.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, Drunken Master is my favorite. Now, Drunken Master is a kung fu movie, whereas Police Story is more of an action movie.
Yeah. Right.
He's so, and quite frankly, now looking back after watching that should have been one of our main movies, this segment, because it's just so good. It's just fantastic.
It really is.
And then finally today, I've been working on a job that's just been kind of crazy, and it's just been a huge pain in the ass. And this morning I about threw my remote through the TV over it because it's just one of those edits that doesn't end. And I'm like, dude, I got to get out of here. I called River and said, you want to go to the movie? Let's go see this Elvis movie. So we went and saw the Baz Luhrmann Elvis film. I am not a Baz fan. I have not really enjoyed any of his movies. The Great Gatsby was a piece of shit.
Oh, God.
Moulin Rouge, like, the only thing about Moulin Rouge was the camera work. Like, he's very stylistic.
Was there Lady Marmalade in it?
Yeah, no, not in this, no.
Oh, okay.
This was no different. There was lots of spinning cameras and lots of crazy popped up graphics. Little Richard, Little Richard they show a young Little Richard in a Memphis bar, and it's trans, it's like a woman depicting him, which is a total Baz Luhrmann trademark, which was it was awesome. The singing was great, but it's definitely, it could just be Elvis with nobody's name on it, and within the first 5 minutes, you're like, this is Baz Luhrmann. This is Baz Luhrmann 100%. With that being said...
And you didn't get up and walk out.
With that being said, for me, it's the best movie he's made. Now, granted, I'm an Elvis fan, so, of course, the subject matter is much different, but it was very well done, and he pulled it back when he needed to pull it back. So there's a lot of Baz, but then there's a lot of normal storytelling.
Okay.
And it was very good. Tom Hanks should probably get an Oscar nom. I wouldn't say he'd get it for supporting actor, but he should probably get an Oscar nom. His character, he plays Colonel Parker, the guy who pretty much put Elvis in his grave, made him who he was, and then stole everything from him and kept him locked up and all this stuff.
Sure.
But even the scenes where you feel like he's generally caring for Elvis, there's a snake about him. And the way Tom Hanks does it, it's incredible. Like, by the end of that movie, you fucking hate him. Like, you hate him. And I'm like, it's just a very good character. Like, you never see Tom Hanks. You see this fat old man who's basically sucked off Elvis. I mean, no, basically parasited him and taken half of his money and locked him into this thing because of his own personal. And I think that's the sad part about the Elvis story, and what I liked about this movie is he really does a good job of showing how, Elvis was just this nice guy, talented. What made him happy was playing songs, and everybody around him was taking advantage of him. Even his own father, like, people were just sucking off of him, and all he wanted to do was play music like Long Tall Sally and freaking...
Yeah. And what's weird is, as big as he was, the things Colonel Tom Parker did very much handicapped his career.
Oh, 100%. He got him locked in.
The entire 60s making those terrible movies.
Oh, yeah. And then they got him into that whole Christmas stuff. Then they tried to revamp him, kind of like Johnny Cash, like Rick Rubin did with Johnny Cash. And Colonel just kept him there, kept him at the International... and kept him from going. Didn't want to go do a world tour, like really did, just kind of keep him
Well, you know
locked
why
in.
he didn't do a world tour? Did they mention that in the movie?
Well, it's because Parker was an immigrant. He couldn't go
He was
anywhere.
an illegal immigrant, yeah. They wouldn't let him back in the country.
Yep.
Well, he was from, like, the Netherlands or some shit?
Yes.
Yeah, so his whole Southern gentleman persona that turned was completely fake.
Oh, yeah, it's completely... I mean, everything about him was fake.
Yeah, it's he's a very interesting person, but yeah, terrible.
I think he was from Will Fuck You Ovica.
Yeah, he was. Over Will Fuck...
Which I think is next to Luxembourg. Anyway.
Yeah.
But, well, with that said, I 100%, if you're an Elvis fan, or you're a Baz Luhrmann fan, go see this movie. If you are neither, there's no need. I mean, really, because that's all it is. It is the Elvis story through and through, and it's done very well, and it's done very flashy. If you're a big fan of Baz and you're a big fan of Elvis, which I hear a lot of people are, I got a lot of friends on Facebook that are big Elvis fans, and they've already gone and seen it 3 times. I've got one friend who named her daughter Presley, and gone to see the film 4 times and cried, and she just loves it. So, I guess it's just one of those things. It's an acquired taste.
Here's what I'll tell you about Elvis, okay? Growing up as a small kid, my grandparents had Elvis figurines all over the fucking house. I didn't know what the fucking Elvis was, but I saw, like, the young Elvis, the middle-aged Elvis, the old Elvis.
The old Elvis.
This was in the early 80s. And my dad, as you well know, fucking loved Elvis.
Every time I got to get up. Every time that gum leg shakes, I think about your old man.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've been surrounded by Elvis for pretty much, the entirety of my young life, I guess. And I've always been a fan of his music. I think a lot of people judge him as being like some rip-off artist and like a symbol of like everything that's wrong with like white music when it comes to like stealing it. And
he's essentially...
He's the king of that in a lot of people's eyes.
He essentially took a lot of R&B, a lot of the...
the reason is because that's what he grew up with, and that's what he knew.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like a money grab, like, hey, I'm going to... He did it because that's what he did. And I think, especially in the last, 25 years, he's been kind of unjustly vilified. And when I heard about this movie, I got kind of excited about it. And then I saw Baz was attached to it, and I got flaccid again because I'm not a fan of his whatsoever. Gatsby is it may be my favorite book of all time, and he made something out of it that is unwatchable. He took a great story and made it unwatchable. Same with Romeo and Juliet. You take a great story and you made it unwatchable. And I have a little bit of a leeriness about is he going to do the same thing with Elvis's story? And I would have liked to have seen his story done maybe by somebody that I think is maybe a better storyteller that would maybe not flash it up and make
just
it glitzy.
Do it linear.
Yeah, just do a fucking story.
Like Robert Duvall did The Apostle. Very just straight.
Yeah.
Narration, linear.
I want to know what happens at the beginning, and the middle, and in the end. I don't need all the bullshit and all the bazziness.
Yeah.
So
there was a lot of bazziness. Not as much as normal, though.
Well, here's what I'll say.
I would give it a day in court.
I will watch it when it comes out on something streaming. I will start it. If I'm able to finish it, so be it. But if I'm not, then that'll be the only time I'll try. It's like with Gatsby. I don't even think I got 35 minutes in, and I was like, I can't do this.
When you see Leonardo do the fucking...
I just couldn't stand it. It
all
just,
over, dude.
even talking about it makes my fucking... God, it just fucking makes my neck tighten.
And Leonardo can carry a bad movie. And he could not carry that one.
Yeah, I'm very...
That's on Lee's favorite movie list, The Great Gatsby in Australia, isn't it?
No. The only Baz movie I've seen is Moulin Rouge.
And you were forced to that one, weren't you?
I was forced to that, and it was not my jam. And I've seen clips of other. He's one of those guys. He's just not my kind of guy.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's just, you know, there are some directors. They just, you know, I guess I'm more of a Craig Baxley guy. But you know, what can you do?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. Well, that's what I watched, and like I said, I would tell you, yes, both films I saw in the theater, I would definitely I'd see, you know, why not? And in Police Story, I would 100% own. Go out and buy it.
There's a very nice Criterion Blu-ray.
Yes, there is.
I believe the first 2 Police Story movies.
I want to start reviewing.
I think that Criterion. On HBO Max, they have like a little Criterion section now, and I think I saw it on there the other day.
Yeah, the Lone Wolf and Cub, the Lone Wolf and Cub series is the Criterion collection on HBO Max.
It is,
and it looks fucking amazing.
Oh gosh, I watched it the other day. I wasn't even gonna bother our listeners by going, I'll watch Lone Wolf again, but I will bother them about, hey, you know, we're about 6 days late, but you know something, I would have watched more movies, but every June, around the 20th, or when the summer comes around, a movie deep to my heart always goes into the DVD player, and that's Jaws. I mean, you gotta watch Jaws, it's the summer, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
It's one of the greatest movies ever.
Yeah.
Ever. Ever. I watched it twice, and I don't know what it is. Because I've probably seen that movie 70 times, and I don't know what it is that I like about it. But it's just so damn good.
It's the feeling of it. It's
all
like
of it. It's not one thing.
At the beginning, like the Act 1, when he's just walking around the town, you know, and he's making the sign. I could just watch that shit forever.
You're right. Yeah, the boys have been karateing the picket fence. Yeah. I mean, it's just like, and he's like, hey, his wife goes, hey, it's so cliche. Hey, Chief, be careful. And he's like, in this town? I mean, you just know it's happening. It's even the little dialogue, like, what's her name? Have Penny do the printing.
Penny do the printing, yeah.
What's wrong with my printing? Have Penny do the printing. I don't know. Yeah, right. It's the feeling. It's the beach. It's the.
Yeah, it's my favorite movie of all time. I mean, I love everything about it. I have 5 books on the making of it, which is retarded.
Not for you, Lee. Not for you.
Well, not for me. Yeah, for a normal person.
Yes.
But I can't really explain why it's my favorite. I mean, I love everything about it because it's almost like 3 movies. You know, the first act, each act is a movie. You know, like it's like sort of a family drama. Then it's like a thriller about is there going to be a shark attack? Then it's like an adventure movie once they're on the boat. You know, I mean. Yeah, I love everything about it.
And to think that they had so many problems, like, making it, and it turned out so well. Yeah, I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, so anyway, I don't know. I guess every year, you know, 4th of July is coming, beach is coming.
I'll definitely be watching it this weekend.
And I just start thinking about Jaws, man. I got to pop it in, so there you go. Well, yeah. So what? Jaws is a cop movie too.
It is a cop movie.
It's a cop that doesn't like the water, has to get in a boat and go kill a shark.
Yeah.
Jaws or Stone Cold? Say it and I'll punch you in the face.
You know, I mean, come on.
Okay. Well, what's next week? What piece of shit are you gonna submit me to next week?
I believe next week we're doing the original Dirty Harry.
Oh, well, see, now that's okay. Just as long as it's not Cry Macho.
That's not Cry Macho.
Hey, don't even try and watch it.
What, Cry Macho? I already did.
I didn't want to watch the drug smuggling movie, but I got talked into it.
The Mule?
Yeah.
It actually had some cool parts to it.
It was good, but I just didn't want to. I was just kind of like done with it. I was just like,
I don't want to see him like this.
I don't even really want to see him that old.
Yeah. That's.
He's always such a fucking racist bastard. Every one of his shows, it's always so racist. It's hilarious. Clint Eastwood's the only guy in America that can still get away with being racist.
Crotchety old white guy. It's the only guy that can still do it without getting canceled.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got like the old rules, the old zoning rules, where it's like,
he's grandfathered in.
He's grandfathered in. Yeah, he's grandfathered in.
Yeah.
He's the only one that can still walk around a Hollywood party and grope some woman and be like, oh, it's just Clint, don't worry about it. Yeah. He doesn't know any better. He's like 250 years old. Hey.
He's fucking great.
It's going to be Dirty Harry, kids, next week.
Very nice. And I've got an accompaniment. There was a movie when I was watching Stone Cold, and I was having such a good fucking time watching it. And I kept thinking about this other movie. So I already know of one other movie that I am going to watch and accompany with this.
Okay.
You're
not going to tell us?
I'm not going to say.
Really? You're going to leave that shit?
I'm
You're going to
leave
give us? You're going to leave some suspension of disbelief?
No, it's just, it'll give you a reason to come back next week.
Where are we watching Dirty Harry? And if any of our listeners want to watch it before us so they can...
I think I saw it on...
It is on HBO Max and Netflix.
What the fuck would we do with that HBO? Man, I went through all my streaming services, right? I'm cutting costs because I had to cut costs because I just bought a $5,000 camera. And I said, all right, well, we got Shudder, we got Paramount, we've got Peacock, we've got Netflix, we've got
Hulu,
ESPN Plus, and Disney Plus, and HBO Max.
Yeah, it's amazing how streaming was supposed to
simplify,
free everybody from cable, and now it's just cable.
It is. And I pay $60 a month. Well, I got rid of Paramount. I didn't even finish the offer, if you believe that. That's right up my fucking alley, and I didn't finish it.
Well,
and I like
they make the movie, Garrick.
Yeah, right. Well, that's kind of like Obi-Wan, like you said. I know what the fuck's going on. And I got rid of Peacock, and so then I got down and I'm like, could I get rid of Netflix or HBO Max? My wife says you can't get rid of Netflix. That's all the kids watch. But me, honestly, like if it was just me, if my kids were in college, I could get rid of Netflix as long as I kept HBO Max. I think I could do without all these. I think I really could. If I could keep my Shudder and my HBO Max, I would be happy.
HBO Max it's the best streaming service. I mean,
I didn't even watch Prime, dude.
I still watch Prime.
I watch Prime for the deep cuts.
A lot of older movies.
Yeah, the old shit. Yeah,
the deep cuts, man. I mean, that's where you get them. I will say this about Hulu, and I'm not a huge fan of it, and I forgot I have been watching this, and I'll give a full report next week. But I don't know if you guys watched the Pam and Tommy about Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee and the sex tape.
Yeah.
I'm like 4 episodes into it. It's pretty fucking good. It's really funny and not at all what I was expecting.
They drag it out, but okay, yes, I did watch that, and I have not spoken about it. So next week, my friend, you and
I'm enjoying what I'm seeing so far. I mean, but it's a little... it's a little cock heavy. It's a touch cock heavy. We've had this issue before.
Have you gotten to the point where Tommy talks to his cock? Is that?
That was like the second episode.
I can't remember.
I was like, what is happening?
Dude, Lily James is amazing.
We'll talk about her.
Yeah, it's God. Yes,
Yes, we will.
Thank you for listening. You can subscribe to our podcast anywhere that you get your podcasts. You can also get more info on us at our Patreon page, our Facebook page, our Instagram, Twitter, and soon-to-be Reddit page. And if that's not enough, just go straight to our website and get everything. It's videostoretales.com. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you next week. Stone Cold or Spider-Man?
Stone Cold, not even close.
God almighty.